Hmm. Well, okay. I hope you are able to see the word file as well as me, Laltanpuri. And in case of any
Yes, sir.
difficulty,
Yes,
you
sir.
can just unmute yourself and let me know. Well, okay. Now, today's topic that we are discussing is Peshwa Madhavrao and restoration of Maratha power in North India. Peshwa Madhavrao was Peshwa from 1761 to 1772, just 11 years. And in our last lecture, we have discussed about Panipat, one of the important episode in Maratha history. And that Battle of Panipat was fought in January 1761, 14 January to be precise. And that shock was too much for Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, that is Nana Sahib Peshwa, and he dies a few months after that. His elder son Vishwas Rao, who was supposed to succeed him, and he was groomed accordingly, also dies in at Panipat. And now, who is supposed to made next Peshwa? His next son, second son, was Madhav Rao, and he was quite young, 16 years. So Peshwa's brother, that Peshwa who has already died, Nana Sahib's brother Raghunath Rao, he thought that now probably I'll be made Peshwa, and he accordingly started correspondence. He was seems to be a bit overconfident that now Peshwa's position will come to him. But people, certain people, they oppose him, and then they thought that it's Madhav Rao who could be the better Peshwa. So finally it was decided that in the court of Chhatrapati of Satara. And Chhatrapati of Satara, he is now quite an insignificant person. Most of the decision used to be taken by the Maratha Confederation, and before that, Peshwa became the supreme leader of the Marathas. But nevertheless, the decision that is communicated by the Maratha Confederation, and decision was finally taken by Chhatrapati of Satara, that is Rajaram. He is also known as Ram Raja. That it will be Peshwa, Madhavrao will be Peshwa, though 16 years, and he is very young. Raghunath Rao will also assist him in handling the responsibilities. Now, this Madhavrao, he becomes Peshwa. He was born in 1745 at a very young age of 16 years. Raghunath Rao was very selfish person and very shrewd, and he had no sense of responsibility towards the Maratha state. So this person has created a lot of problem for his nephew. He wanted share in Peshwaship. He used to create obstruction in any kind of uh, progress that Madhav Rao wanted to make, and he used to conspire against him. So a lot of energy of Madhav Rao has gone to keep his own uncle under check. Now, when Peshwa was occupied on all this domestic trouble created by his own uncle, what was the condition of North? Let us discuss now. So the Maratha, they lost hugely at the Battle of Panipat, and now the petty ruler, small ruler, on whom the Marathas have established their domination in the north, and they used to take the annual taxes from this ruler. Those petty rulers, they started revolting against the Marathas. Nazib Khan, the enemy of Marathas, especially of Scindia, was supreme at Delhi. And unfortunately, most of the capable, the Peshwas had these two important people to look after the Maratha interests in the north, that is Scindias and Holkar. And most of the capable male of Scindia family, they died in the battlefield. Like Jankoji Shinde has died, Dattaji Shinde has died before that. Mahadaji Shinde, somehow he could escape. He became lame. So that was another loss. So Marathas, how the Marathas power after this Panipat became weaker in the northern India, that we are discussing now. Mallara Holkar, though veteran of many war and expert in the guerrilla warfare, he was now aging, and he lost the earlier energy that he had. And these Rohilas, Suja, and Jat, who were quite afraid of the Marathas earlier, now they started occupying the territories of those territories of northern India which were occupied by the Marathas. At the same time, in Punjab, which was held by Marathas just before Panipat, there was a rise of Sikh. Sikh were divided into the 12 missals. 12 missals used to be the kind of group, and these 12 missals sometimes they came together, sometimes they fought among themselves. But Sikh were rising as an important military power in Punjab, and these Sikh have stopped Ahmad Shah Abdali from coming towards northern India through Punjab. Abdali could not hold on to Punjab after Panipat also. Sikh have liberated themselves. At the same time, in southern India, Hyder Ali was new enemy of Marathas. Hyder was one of the commander of the Odia king of Mysore, but he became supreme. And then Nizam was a hereditary enemy of Maratha. He also was looking for an opportunity to grab the Maratha territories. And Raghunath Rao, he was constantly conspiring against his own nephew. So these are the difficulties that this young Peshwa faced at the age of 16. And at the same time, coming back to northern India, as Marathas lost the battle of Panipat and Ahmad Shah Abdali went back, there was vacuum in northern India, which we have discussed in the last lecture. And this vacuum was very aptly made use by the Britishers. First, before Panipat in 1757, they defeated the Nawab of Bengal in the Battle of Plassey. And in 1764, they defeated these three forces, Shah Alam and Nawab of Bengal and Nawab Suja of Awadh. All these three power were defeated, and had the Marathas being supreme in the north, probably the condition would have become different for the Britishers. But as the Marathas were not in a position to go in support of this Indian ruler, they were defeated at the Battle of Buxar. And now the Emperor Shah Alam, he became a kind of puppet in the hands of Britishers. He was stationed at Allahabad, and the Britishers they took the responsibility of protecting him, but at the same time, in return, they were given the right to collect Diwani of Bengal. So a lot of financial benefit came to the hands of the Britishers. And the Britishers, they used to proclaim openly that we are working here as the servant of the Mughal emperor. But they were, very cleverly looking forward to encroach upon the territories of the Indian ruler. This, in fact, we have already studied in first semester, that is India under the company rule, and then later on India under the British rule. So India under the company rule, that paper gives us a lot of description how the Britishers have slowly increased their territory over in India. Now, let us go back to this position of 1765. We are trying to understand what was the situation in northern India during 1760s. So after Battle of Buxar, the huge area from Bengal to Allahabad, it came under British protection. And in between these two extremes, that is Bengal and Allahabad, there was a fort of Chunar. And this Chunargarh was also taken over by the Britishers from the Mughal emperor, because they wanted to station their army there. Because in case there is a huge communication, huge area between Bengal and Allahabad, and in between they wanted their huge cantonment. So we see that the huge area from Bengal to right up to Allahabad it came under the control of the Britishers, and Maratha power was not in a position to stop their growth. Now, Madhavrao, he slowly overcame his difficulties. He first paid immediate attention to South India, which was very closer to him, like Nizam and Hyderabad. They were defeated. Raghunath Rao was also defeated. He tried to reconcile with Raghunath Rao, but was not willing to listen. And finally, in the war, Raghunath Rao was defeated. He now grew up. Immediately by the age of 18, in 2 years, he earned the confidence of the Maratha nobility that yes, Peshwa Madhavrao is a capable person and have a capacity to lead. And now after that, he started paying attention to North. So it took him almost 5-6 years to control the situation that demanded his immediate attention. And it was only after 1766 that he started sending expedition to North. But before he started sending expedition to North, let us take overview of the certain political event that took place in northern India between the Battle of Panipat and 1766. That is 1761 to 1766. That is in between these 5 years. One important thing that Holkar has done. Holkar was often blamed for being running away from the Battle of Panipat immediately and being in league with Nazib Khan, the mortal enemy of the Marathas. But nevertheless, in 1761, what he has done is that in November 1761, that is 10 months after the this defeat of the Marathas at the Battle of Panipat, as the Marathas were defeated, Madhav Singh of Jaipur, who used to pay yearly chauth, yearly tax to Holkar, he refused to pay. He formed alliance of many Rajput rulers, and he has driven the Marathas away, Maratha checkpost away from Rajput. And Holkar, he responded to the situation. He gathered army and marched against Madhav Singh, and hotly contested battle was fought at a place called Mangrol near Kota. That was fought in November 1761. And in this battle, Holkar, he came out successfully, though his hand was injured. But he finally managed to defeat this Madhav Singh and all those Rajputs who supported him. And large number of Rajputs were killed in this battle. And this sent an immediate message to everybody in the north that the Maratha power is not finished at Panipat, because just 10 months after that, Holkar had this splendid victory against the Rajput. Now, uh, Suja Udaula, Mir Qasim of Bengal, and Shah Alam, all these three were defeated by the Britishers, and they occupied significant territory. But Suja was somehow trying to gain back his territory. He fought against the British at some certain places. But the Britishers, he knew that he cannot stand against the Britishers alone. So he remembered his Maratha friends, as his father Safdarjung has taken the help of the Marathas against the Rohillas and Pathan. He sought the help of Holkar and Scindia against British. So Holkar joins him, and ex-Wazir Ghazuddin. He also joins him with whatever force he could muster, and this combined army of Holkar, Suja, and ex-Wazir, that is Ghazuddin, they march against the Britishers. Now the British camp was surrounded, and Holkar, in line with his guerrilla tactics, he tries to cut off the supply of the British. And the British Major Fletcher, he knew that in case he remained stranded at the one place, and the Marathas, if they are able to cut off his supply, probably his condition will become bad. So with his efficient artillery, he marches against Holkar, and Holkar was defeated. So this defeat is also indicative of the new dimension of the war tactics. The Marathas, they dominated very significant years from 1720 onwards to almost 1765, and later on also they did continue to dominate 18th century. But this battle was indicator that guerrilla tactics of the Marathas are being passed now. It's now history, and the new tactics are that is the efficient use of the artillery forces, which is brought by the European. So Holkar was defeated by the Britishers, and he withdraws to Kalpi quite distressed. And Mahadaji Sindhe could not go to his help immediately. Before that, Holkar was defeated, and in 1765 he was defeated, and this old veteran of the Maratha cavalry, he dies next year, 1766. Unfortunately, before his death, he has to see that his tactics of war is no longer being in fashion. It's a new tactics supported by the modern artillery, that is the rising star, and that is how Mahadaji Shinde later on adapts to this efficient artillery. Well, so that was the situation in 1766. Marathas could not do much except that one battle that was fought by Mallar Rao in November 1761. And after that, Mallar Rao was also called to South for a number of years, and Peshwa was entangled in his problem in the South India, as well as the domestic trouble created by his own uncle Raghunath Rao. Now, as the matter was settled between Raghunath Rao and Madhav Rao, Madhav Rao sent Raghunath Rao to north in 1766 with a huge force of 40,000. And he was given instruction that Delhi should be captured. Now, in between the Maratha territory and the one problem that prevented Maratha from directly launching their attack on Delhi is that the Jat ruler of Gohad. Gohad, the territory, it came in between. And the Jat ruler of Gohad, Jats, earlier they were friends of Maratha. They used to pay the yearly taxes to Marathas. But now they revolted against the Marathas, seeing that Marathas they lost the war at the battle at Panipat, and the Marathas they thought it prudent that we need to defeat the Jat first before we can establish our control over Delhi. And these Jat they were also in revolt against the Mughal emperor, and the emperor from his side thought that I should take the Maratha help so that I can go to Delhi. He was living like a prisoner at Allahabad, and he was repeatedly requesting the Britishers that he should be taken to Delhi, because until unless I have capital in my hand, nobody will call me an emperor. But the Britishers they were avoiding it, because Britishers thought that if they take the responsibility of the emperor to take him to Delhi, probably they will come into conflict with many people, including the Marathas. So they were delaying it by putting forward one or another reason. But the emperor, from his side, he tried to communicate with Raghunath Rao that as the Marathas are having a quite significant number of forces, they should take me to Delhi. Now Raghunath Rao was diplomatically also he was not so capable, not so prudent. He could not form an alliance of the ruler of the north so that collectively they can take the emperor to Delhi. He even asked the help to the Britishers that you cooperate with us so that we can take the emperor to Delhi. But Robert Clive, he was very clever. He knew that helping the Marathas will be like giving an encouragement to their power. So he did not respond. The Britishers' empire building it happened at a very slow pace compared to Maratha. But once they captured the territory, they never left it. And it was in contrast to Maratha, where they went on capturing up to Attack and then very quickly lost it. Well, so that was a policy of the nation that the Britishers have followed. And in case of the Marathas, we generally find that it was really driven by the individual ambition. Well, now the Jat ruler he also formed a very strong coalition, very powerful coalition against the Marathas, and he included Rohillas also in that coalition. He did not pay Khandani, the annual tax that he was supposed to pay to the Marathas. And Raghunath Rao, when he marched towards north, he joined by Shindes and Holkar. And Gohad, the very important capital fort of the Jat ruler of Gohad, was Bisik. But that fort was very strong, and Jat Raja, he continued to receive support from the other Jat chief, including Jawahar Singh. Jawahar Singh succeeded Surajmal at Bharatpur. Bharatpur was a very important capital of Jat, and Bharatpur ruled Surajmal. Before Panipat, he cooperated with Marathas, but then he departed from Bhau. But when Marathas lost the war, Surajmal, he helped the Marathas to reach to their homeland. This Surajmal has died. He had, war against Najib Khan, and he dies. And he was succeeded by Jawahar Singh. And this Jawahar Singh was a very capable, a very aggressive person, and he did not surrender to the Marathas, but he raised the banner of revolt, and he helped this Rana of Gohad. The sorties made by Marathas to the fort was unsuccessful, and the Maratha condition became pretty bad. Raghunath Rao was not having adequate money to pay to his soldiers, and Holkar and Gaikwad, these two important subedar of Maratha, they left him as they say you are not paying any money for our soldiers. Raghunath Rao was quite in a difficult circumstances. What to do? Siege was laid. The Rana of Gohad is not surrendering. Maratha commanders are leaving him. He prays for money to Pune, asked his nephew Madhav to send money, but Madhav Rao's financial condition was also not so good. Finally, Mahadaji Shinde, he came in between. He tried to form a kind of trust between Raghunath Rao and the Rana of Gohad. And Rana finally agreed to pay rupees 15 lakh to Raghunath Rao. And finally, the siege was raised. Jawahar Singh, a lot of pressure was put on Jawahar Singh, and he also agreed that I'll pay the remaining Khandani to the Marathas. And meanwhile, the Sikh, their power was increasing. They reached up to Delhi, and Raghunath Rao, he feared that probably they will also join hands with the Jats, and my condition will become pretty bad. At the same time, Punjab was also invaded by Ahmad Shah Abdali, and he wrote very strong worded letter to Raghunath Rao that I will come and attack you once again. Raghunath Rao, even at this time, Raghunath Rao did not try to form an alliance against Ahmad Shah Abdali. Even he received the letter of assurance from the Britishers. Britishers told Raghunath Rao that if you form an alliance against Ahmad Shah Abdali of the North Indian ruler, we will come and assist you. but Raghunath Rao was not having that much courage, neither that much diplomatic skill. He withdraws to south without achieving much success during his expedition. On the way back, however, he captures Bhilsa. Bhilsa was the Maratha territory, Maratha area before Panipat. But after the loss of Marathas at Panipat, the Nawab of Bhopal captured that area, but that was recaptured by Raghunath Rao during his journey back to Maharashtra. Now, as this huge army of Marathas went back unsuccessfully without achieving much, the Jats, they raised their heads once again. Jawahar Singh was very capable, active person, active ruler of the Jat, and he captures Maratha position in Bundelkhand. Uh, and his army was trained by French General Rin Madi. And during this war between Marathas and Jat, Mahadaji Scindia saw that the army of Jat, the platoon that is trained by French General Rin Madi, he is fighting more efficiently. They are trained to handle the weapon, and this lesson was put into practice by Mahadaji Scindia later on. He also employed French general in his army to train his people in the use of artillery, as well as to make an efficient infantry battalion. Well, now, as this most of the Marathas, they went back to south to help Peshwa Madhavrao in his war that he was fighting in south. The north was, again, there was a political vacuum, and there was a commander, Maratha commander at Kalpi, Balaji Govinda Kher, but he did not really have adequate forces to stand against Jawahar Singh, the Jat ruler, and almost all the Maratha possession in Bundelkhand was lost. But unfortunately, this Rajputs and Jat, they were also quite jealous of each other. The Raja of Jaipur, Rajput king of Jaipur, and Jawahar Singh of Bharatpur, their borders met, and they had certain border disputes. And that led to the war in 1761. And in this war, Jawahar Singh was defeated by the king of Jaipur. And but there was a significant loss to the Rajput ruler as well, and this has weakened both in the north. Rajputs were also weakened, and Jat also weakened. And one thing has happened that was quite an unfortunate in 1761. This Jawahar Singh was, witnessing the fight of the elephants, and somehow it seemed that one servant, he had some grudges against him, and he badly insulted that servant. So that servant, in a fit of anger, he takes out his sword and slays Jawahar Singh. So this illustrious ruler of Jat, very courageous Jat ruler, he dies unfortunately in 1761. And this has weakened the Jat considerably. And slowly, as the Jats were weakened, Rajputs were weakened, the Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar. Mallara Holkar dies, and Tukoji Holkar, who becomes now the leader of the Holkar army, though the other administration was looked after by Ahilyabai Holkar, that is daughter-in-law of Mallara Holkar. So Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar, they re-established the Maratha control over Bundelkhand. And now, as now Madhura was relatively free from his domestic trouble, as well as the trouble that possibly he might get from Nizam and Hyder Ali, he sends huge army under Maratha commander Ramchandra Ganesh and Visaji Krishna Biniwale towards north. Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar, they joins them, and Pratap Singh, the ruler of Jaipur, and Nawab of Bhopal, they also joins the Marathas. And Madhavrao had ordered the Marathas that they should go to the north and take possession of Delhi. The Emperor Shah Alam, who was already communicating with the Marathas, on the one side he was requesting the Britishers to take him to Delhi. On the another side, he was also requesting the Marathas that you should take us to Delhi. The Jats were creating a lot of problem for the emperor, and he communicated to the Marathas that if you can defeat the Jat, I will pay you 50 lakh rupees. And as Jawahar Singh, as he was murdered by his own servant, his son Kesri Singh became the ruler. But Kesri Singh was a young child, and so his two uncles, that is Nawal Singh and Ranjit Singh, they were fighting for the control of the administration. They wanted that control should remain in their own hands. And Ranjit Singh, he approaches Marathas and he takes Maratha help. Najib Khan, who was now virtual ruler of Delhi, Delhi was almost without the emperor for a long period now. Uh, Najib Khan also supports Ranjit Singh, and Naval Singh, who had now European generals under him, was defeated by the Marathas in April 1770. This person, Ramchandra Ganesh, Mahadaji Scindia, they played an important role in this defeat. And this, the defeat of the contingent led by European general, this has enhanced the prestige of the Marathas. And immediately after this defeat, the Marathas, they occupied Agra and Mathura. Later on, Naval Singh, who was defeated, he agreed to pay 65 lakh rupees to Marathas and 11 lakh rupees per year thereafter. Ranjit Singh, he gave up his claim to kingship of Jat and accepted Jagir worth of 20 lakh rupees. Now, as the Marathas, they have occupied Agra and Mathura after the defeat of the Jat, the important power, Jat power, was broken now. Najib, he understood that probably the Marathas will take revenge on me, and Najib, he surrenders to the Marathas, and he promised to the Marathas that I will help you conquering the territories of Rohilas and other Jat territories. Though Jat was defeated, the Jat commanders were still holding significant territories under them. Now here there arose differences between Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar about how to deal with Nazib Khan. As I repeated in my earlier lectures also, Nazib Khan and Shinde family, they had a kind of enmity in alliance with Safdarjung. Dattaji Shinde and he led the Maratha army in the heartland of the Rohilas, and he killed large number of Pathan. And at the Battle of Barari Ghat, Qutub Shah, that was Guru of Najib Khan, he cut the head of Dattaji Shinde. And later on, when the Kunjapura was captured by Bhau Sahib, Qutub Shah was, he was killed. And during the Panipat also, large number of the major male member of Shinde's family were killed. So Shinde was not willing to trust Najib Khan. He said it was Najib Khan who in fact trapped my uncle Dattaji at the Shukratal, and he proved to be the hereditary enemy of the Marathas. He was the person who invited Ahmad Shah Abdali, so we should not trust this fellow, and we should immediately arrest him. But Tukoji Holkar, the Holkar somehow seems to be having a kind of sympathy for the house of Najib Khan. It was Mallara Holkar who used to treat him as his son, and it is believed that it was Najib Khan who ensured that Mallara Holkar is escaping safely from the Battle of Panipat. Well, so Tukoji Holkar was in favor of making use of Najib Khan so that he can conquer the Rohilla territories. Marathas can conquer the Rohilla territories. So they developed certain differences between Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar. Now, Mahadaji was of the opinion that we should occupy Delhi immediately, and Holkar opposed this plan also. He said that as the emperor is not there in Delhi, he is living at Allahabad under the protection of the Britishers, and if the Marathas occupy Delhi, probably there will be large number of rulers who will turn against the Marathas. This is the mistake which Bhau Sahib has made. That is what is pointed out by Tukoji Holkar. He said Bhau Sahib has occupied Delhi. He removed the silver ceiling of Diwan-e Khas, and that has turned many people, many ruler against the Marathas. And in case if we occupy Delhi, probably the Britishers will help the emperor to reoccupy Delhi, and we will be having clashes against the very well trained artillery of the Britishers, and which we don't want to do right now. So they had a difference of opinion, and finally the matter was referred to Peshwa, and Peshwa gave his opinion that okay, fine, make use of Nazib Khan to occupy the territories, to regain the territories, Maratha territories in the north, but keep a watch on him. So Peshwa's opinion prevailed finally. And now next stage is that war against Rohilas and Bangash. So now, as Nazib Khan, who was holding Delhi, he agreed that I will help Marathas to regain their lost territory. And so the Marathas, with the help of Nazib Khan, they planned their expedition against Rohilas and Pathan. So Ahmad Khan Bangash was important Pathan Rohila ruler, and he was having his capital at Farrukhabad, north east of Delhi. And before Panipat, he promised that he will pay 16 and a half parganas. He will hand over parganas, 16 and a half parganas to the Marathas. Uh, but after Panipat, definitely, as the Marathas were defeated, this ruler, they did not felt any necessity to honor their commitment, and they did not hand over the area to the Marathas. Ramchandra Ganesh, he asked for that area. Bangash refused, and Ramchandra Ganesh, with the Maratha army, he marched into his territory. At Ramghat, he makes his camp of the Maratha army. Now Nazib Khan again he started playing his tricks. That apparently he was helping Marathas, but from inside he was in alliance with Bangash, and he tried to annihilate the Maratha army. He tried to trap the Marathas at Ramghat near Ganga, and the Maratha camp. It became surrounded by the flood. So there was a possibility of repetition of Shukratal. What happened just before Panipat, when Dattaji Shinde was trapped at Shukratal, and it became very difficult for him to escape. And finally, that led to the Ahmad Shah Abdali coming. But now Ahmad Shah Abdali was no longer in a position to come. He was not able to come through Punjab, as Sikh were opposing him. He himself was losing his health, and later on he dies in 1772. But as apart from Nazib and Bangash, who were bent on destroying Maratha, Suja was also conspiring against the Marathas with the Britishers. And the Britishers, Suja and Najib and Bangash, all these people were looking at an opportunity to weaken or destroy the Marathas completely. And when this news has reached Peshwa in Pune that the Marathas are besieged and their condition is becoming pretty difficult, they're surrounded by flood on the one side, Bangash army on the other side, Najib army, Suja is preparing, trying to take help of the Britishers so that they can annihilate the Marathas. The Peshwa, he immediately prepared army at Pune and was preparing to send a reinforcement. But the Marathas in the north, now they were experienced they were wise by their experience. So Ramchandra Ganesh, he did not follow the example of Dattaji to press on the siege and to live in the very difficult circumstances. He very slowly withdraws to the safer position. All the equipments were slowly being taken to the safer position. Etawah was captured by the Marathas, and where he strengthened his position. Now, as the Maratha position was strengthened, there was no need to send army from Pune. Army did not came from Pune, as Peshwa got the better news that the Maratha position has become better. And Nazib Khan, he was quite old now, and in 1770 October, Nazib Khan dies. Now, when Nazib Khan surrendered to Marathas after the occupation of Mathura, his son Zepta Khan was living in the Maratha camp as a kind of reassurance that Nazib Khan is not going to play any more trick. So this Zepta Khan was immediately put under detention by Ramchandra Ganesh. And but here again, Holkar and Nazib Khan's family matter. This could be a very interesting area of research, at least writing a research paper, that Tukoji Holkar, in following the tradition of his ancestor Mallara Holkar, he comes to the rescue of Nazib Khan's son Zepta Khan, and in the night he allows Zepta Khan to escape from the Maratha camp. And it is believed that Nazib Khan, after that, sorry, Zepta Khan has reminded Tukoji Holkar that your ancestor Mallara Holkar came alive from the battle of Panipat because my father has helped him to escape. Now it is your turn to pay back me, and you allow me to escape from the Maratha camp. And he escapes, and he goes to Delhi. He becomes Mir Bakshi now. That post was held by his father Nazib Khan, so he claimed that now that post is mine. He becomes Mir Bakshi, and here but as the Maratha position have become better now, Ramchandra Ganesh and Mahadaji Shinde, they cooperated with each other, and they defeated Rohilas and Bangash. Large number of Rohilas were killed, and the Maratha army, they marched to the Bangash, Ahmad Khan Bangash capital, that is Farrukhabad, in December 1770. Ahmad Khan, he fought, but then he saw that there is no hope of winning against the Marathas. So he surrendered all those territories that was held by the Marathas before Panipat. He also agrees to pay 22 lakh rupees. But Ahmad Khan Bangash was a very proud Pathan. He could not digest the defeat against the Marathas. He has to surrender the territory. He has to pay the money, and in that grief, he dies in July 1771, 5-6 months after this defeat. And now let us come back to this was a defeat when significant Rohilla territory was occupied by the Marathas. Now the Marathas have to pay attention to Shah Alam too, that is Mughal emperor. And Mughal emperor, he was, as I told earlier, he was living at Allahabad under the protection of the Britishers. He wanted to free himself and go to Delhi and rule as a ruler, independent ruler. And he repeatedly requested to British, that topic also I told you. But Britishers were not paying much attention to his request, and he was also quite afraid that the Marathas are becoming very powerful. Now, he played a quite dubious role, very untrustworthy person. On the one side, he asked Marathas to take him to Delhi first, as Marathas did not pay much attention. But now they became supreme now in the Doab, Mathura and Agra, very close to Delhi, was occupied by them. Rohillas were defeated. Now he became quite afraid of the growing power of the Marathas, and he tried to instigate the British that you should try to control these Marathas. Britishers, they refused to get drawn. They knew that at this stage it is not right to engage with the Marathas. They are still a very supreme, powerful forces. Uh, and on the other hand, the Britishers, they advise the emperor that he can form an alliance of the ruler of North India against the Marathas. And but at the same time, he advised that the emperor should not form friendship with the Marathas. And as now, after occupying the Doab and the Rohilla territory, Marathas now they started preparation to occupy Delhi, to take Delhi. And this frightened the emperor. He thought that if it is occupied by the Marathas, I am not sure whether I will get it back or not. Well, now, so he approaches Marathas. In 1770, Shuja, as representative of Mughal emperor, he visits Ramchandra Ganesh, and emperor, he himself wrote later to Peshwa to Pune. But the Britishers, they kept on pressurizing him. So that pressure, British pressure and dilemma of the emperor, it delayed the emperor's joining hands with the Marathas. And now, Madhav Rao from his side, he tried to avoid any conflict with the Britishers. He sent an envoy to Kolkata and, sent present to the British governor there, and gave an indication, gave a hint that it is in alliance with the Britishers that we want to resolve the issues of northern India. Now, as the emperor was delaying, in fact, emperor's mother, who was at Delhi, also suggested emperor that you should take the help of Marathas to come to Delhi. But emperor was delaying. So Mahadaji Shinde, he played another trick. He declared that he will conquer Delhi and I will make somebody else as an emperor. So, this has alarmed the emperor. He thought that if somebody else is made emperor, probably Delhi has gone. And then he immediately forms an alliance with Mahadaji Scindia, and he agreed to the terms of the Marathas. He agrees that once the Maratha captures Delhi and the Delhi fort, if it is handed over to the of course, it should be handed over. Maratha agreed to that and said, we will hand over the fort to you, but you have to pay us 10 lakh rupees immediately. Then 15 lakh rupees after reaching to Delhi, you have to pay us. And all other earlier area held by the Marathas will be given to the Marathas. And except Wazir, this is a very important clause, except Wazir, all important appointments will be made by the Marathas. So, the Maratha hold on the administration of emperor became complete by this agreement of 1770. So Mahadaji, he took Delhi, and as Zabta Khan was not willing to surrender the fort, the cannons were fired at the fort, and fort finally surrendered. Zabta Khan surrendered in 1771. Jawan Bakht Khan, son of Shah Alam, he was, as a representative of Shah Alam, he was offered Nazrana by the Marathas, and emperor, he started his march towards Delhi from Allahabad. The Britishers, they accompanied him up to Kura Pargana. They did not wanted to go further to Delhi. Shuja also accompanied him to up to certain distance. And the the emperor, when he left Allahabad fort, he said this Allahabad fort should be given to Shuja. But British, they did not vacate the fort, and they said we need this to keep our army. So we see the British cleverness, how they take an advantage of the situation. The emperor, he camped at Farrukhabad. Farrukhabad was recently captured by the Marathas, and but still there were a significant area which was still under the control of the Rohilla chiefs. And when the Britishers asked Rohillas to surrender and pay him money, the Rohillas, they prepared for war. And the emperor, he did not have adequate army, so he has to request to Mahadaji Scindia to send army. Maratha army, they came, and as the Maratha army came in large number, the Rohilas surrendered and paid some money to the emperor. Emperor sends his representative to Marathas in Delhi, and Delhi was handed over to the representative of the emperor. The emperor, he enters Delhi in December 1771, and Marathas, they now occupied the same position that was achieved by the Marathas just before Panipat War, except of course Punjab was no longer in their hand. Sikh became supreme. Now here differences developed between Ramchandra Ganesh and Visaji Krishna Biniwale. These two important commanders were working in the north, restoring the Maratha position with significant army. Finally, when the news reached to Peshwa, Ramchandra Ganesh was called back to Pune, and it was Visaji Krishna Biniwale and Mahadaji Shinde. These two important Maratha commanders, they had done the further work of restoring the Maratha prestige. Now, Zapta Khan was allowed to go, but Zapta Khan was still capable of making mischief, and Marathas, they were now pressing emperor to pay them money. Emperor did not have money, so now emperor, he thought that okay, let us go and punish the Rohilas and Pathan, as they have revolted against the Mughal emperor. So Mahadaji and Visaji Krishna, along with emperor, they marched to the Rohilla territory. They marched into the Doab, and they subdued all territories at Rohilkhand. Zapta Khan, again, he shut himself at Shukratal again. Shukratal comes repeatedly in the conflict between Marathas and Rohilas. But here again, there was a possibility of repetition of the siege of Shukratal that happened in 1760. But Mahadaji Scindia was quite wise by his experience. He refused to be get trapped, but he attacked at the right moment and bombarded Shukratal. Zapta Khan, he escaped. Shukratal was captured by Maratha, and this Zapta Khan, he goes to Nazibgarh. It was called Pathargarh during those days. That was an important fort of the Rohilas. Nazibgarh was also attacked and captured by the Marathas. Zapta Khan, he ran away to forest. His family fell in the hands of the Marathas, which was later on handed over to him. Here, Mahadaji Scindia was very furious and very angry against Nazib Khan. Nazib Khan was no more, but Mahadaji Scindias and Marathas, they wanted to take the revenge against Nazib Khan, as he was mainly instrumental in killing of Dattaji Shinde and other member of the Shinde family. So his tomb was open, his dead body was, taken out, and the remains were scattered. That was a very unusual thing to do. Rarely we find any Maratha doing that, but Mahadaji Shinde, he does it, and then he, after that, he really boasted about it, that I have taken the revenge of Panipat, I have taken the revenge of killing of Dattaji Shinde. And a lot of things that were captured from the Maratha camp when the Marathas were defeated at Panipat, including some women, Maratha women, and they were kept at this Pathargarh. So the Marathas, they found out those belonging, all those things that were captured by Nazib Khan and Rohilla from Panipat were taken back taken back by the Marathas, as well as certain Maratha women who were forcibly kept there were also rescued by the Marathas. Large number of horses, elephants, and other valuable were captured, and large number of Rohilas and Pathans were killed by the Marathas. They burned the town. They were quite angry, wanted to take revenge that happened 10 years back at Panipat. As Nazib Khan was mostly responsible for inviting Ahmad Shah Abdali. Rohilas, they came to the term Rohilla chiefs, and they agreed to pay 40 lakh rupees. And the news of this victory, when it reached to Pune, it gladdened the heart of Madhav Rao, who was now dying at a very young age. He became sick. He was having tuberculosis, and that was, slowly eating away his body from within, and he was very sick. But till the time of his death, he kept on insisting on the news that should be read out to him coming from the north. And when the dying Madhav Rao, he heard that news that Marathas have finally captured the Nazibgarh and taken the revenge of Panipat, that has gladdened his heart. Well, now let us turn back to the event of Emperor. Though the Marathas supported the Emperor, they were instrumental in him reinstalling at Delhi. Emperor was quite ungrateful, and in December 1772, he sent his 15,000 army to attack the Maratha camp. But the Marathas were, they were on alert. They defeated this imperial army, and that was loss of prestige to Emperor. In 1773, Rohilas and Suja they joined hands against the Marathas, but they were defeated by Visaji and supported by Tukoji Holkar, who supported Visaji with his the cannon, the artillery. Though the Marathas they occupied and re-established the Maratha domination till up to the almost foothill of the Himalayas, because this Nazibgarh and all that area of Rohilas were quite close to the Himalaya foothill of the Himalayas. Now, what happened after this? The Maratha prestige was restored, but they could not hold it for a very long, because the very capable Peshwa Madhav Rao, he dies in 1772, and after that his brother becomes Peshwa Narayan Rao, and he was murdered 1 year after that by the conspiracy of his uncle Raghunath Rao. So Narayan Rao was murdered, and whole this Maratha empire was thrown into the inner conflict. They were supporter of Raghunath Rao, they were a supporter of Narayan Rao, and at the same time the Britishers were rising, and Marathas, because of their internal conflict, could not pay a lot of attention to the rising power of the Britishers. So this restoration of Maratha power under Madhav Rao, we need to understand a certain event. We need to remember certain events. That is, the first is Battle of Mangrol, which was fought by Mallara Holkar in November 1761, and then Holkar was defeated by the British. That is also very important indicator that the Maratha power is on significantly on the decline. But nevertheless, they managed to hold on for a few more years. Raghunath Rao's expedition did not prove to be very successful. He just managed to take 15 lakh rupees from Jat and came back, almost unsuccessful. Jawahar Singh, a very important Jat ruler, he unfortunately dies. And in 1769, Ramchandra Ganesh and Visaji Krishna, they came to north. They defeated Jat. Jat surrenders, agreed to pay the Khandani, the taxes. Nazib Khan surrenders. There was differences between Mahadaji Shinde and Tukoji Holkar about how to make use of Nazib Khan. Nazib Khan was used against the war against Rohilas. Marathas refused to get trapped in the treachery of Nazib Khan. Nazib Khan dies. Dakta Khan was released by Tukoji Holkar, but later on Shah Alam, he approaches Mahadaji Scindia, and Delhi was captured. The Shah Alam was restored as an emperor, and then we, along with Emperor Mahadaji Scindia and Visaji Krishna, they attacked Rohila's territory, and Nazibgarh or Pathargarh was captured. Marathas, it's like Maratha taking revenge of the loss at Panipat. But they could not hold on to this achievement for a very longer period, because of the untimely death of Madhav Rao and the murder of Narayan Rao and the inner conflict that happened into the Maratha empire after this. So this is where we end this topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.